Hey guys, and welcome to I Am Beautiful Hustler TV. Today I'll be showing you guys how to install a 5x5 lace closure and also how to sew in the back of the bundles. Now, if you don't already have me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, which is I Am Beautiful Hustler TV, and follow me on Instagram _Beautiful Hustler. Now today, like I mentioned, I am installing a 5x5 lace closure on my client. And the first I went ahead and did was bleach the knots and pluck this closure. And jumping right into this tutorial, I am cutting off the thick straps on the side of the lace closure because this will allow your closure to seem more seamless. And another thing I wanted to mention, that the reason why I'm laying this closure all the way to the side is because my client want to be able to pull her hair behind her ear. And this is another way that you can make your lace closure give off a realistic look as if it was a lace frontal. So I'm going to go ahead and just sew down the back of my closure, of her closure all around. And then I will begin to proceed with laying down this closure and then sewing in the tracks. Before I actually placed her lace closure on, I did apply her foundation color underneath that lace closure and on top of the lace closure as well in the front area. And that will also give you the melt down effect and natural looking effect of applying your closure, and it looks way more realistic. So now that I have her lace closure sewed on, I'm just going to cut off the extra lace from around her ear, because you do want this closure to be able to lay completely flat and be comfortable on your client's head. And once I do that, I will begin with my Ghost Bond lace glue to lay down her lace closure. Now, I did clean her hairline with alcohol before I actually applied the cap and molded it down with my Bio Silk hairspray. So her hairline is already clean, and I do use 99% alcohol by the brand Swan. So I'm just going to go ahead and begin to lay down that lace glue. And I did apply 3 layers, but I only showed you 1 layer here on camera because it's just repetition with this step. And once that glue has turned white, you can begin to pull that lace down into that glue. And I just like to take my tail comb and just comb that lace down into that glue and blow dry it as well using warm to hot temperature. And that will also help give it a nice little melt down. Now, once you have blow dried that all down, I am going to go ahead and take my eyebrow razor and cut off that extra lace. And you do want to use a razor, or if you are using scissors, just make sure that you are going in a zigzag motion, and that will give you more natural results as well. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take some more of that Ghost Bond lace glue and just tack down all the places that is still lifting.
Dice is on the beat.
Once you have laid everything back down, I'm just going to take my red tail comb and just push that lace into that glue. And before I proceed with the next step, I am just going to part her hair where she wants her part to be. Now, you can do a deep side part with this 5x5 closure and the placement of this 5x5 closure, but she did not want it that far over, so I did the part a little bit higher. But once I go ahead and have that part in a section off, I'm just going to remove the hair out the way by just rolling it up and securing it with a clip, because in the next step I am going to use my Nairobi's mousse and apply that mousse all over her hairline, and then tie it down with elastic band. And then I will also secure with my Beautiful Hustler silk wrap. So now that that lace is secured on down, I'm going to actually start the sewing process of her bundles. Now she do have 4 bundles, and as you guys can see, I am going to keep the cap on her head. I sewed it down all around so I can sew onto the cap instead of just her braids alone. And just pretty much with the sewing process, I like to go underneath the tracks, and once I come out, I wrap that thread around my needle 3 times, and then I pull it. And what that does is just knot the create like 3 knots in every stitch. That way your sewing should be very, very secured. And if you do have a thread that pops later on, down the road, it will not unravel your whole track because each stitch is actually knotted 3 times. And when I do my sewings, I do not cut the tracks. I just flip the tracks on the end, and I just keep sewing on the end at least 3 times to secure that corner is nice and flat, and then I will continue on with the sewing. And I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I reach the top. And with the placement of this closure, I'm not going to do a track to go all the way around the closure. I would just still go in that back and forth motion. And as long as you secure those ends, it should still lay nice, flat, and neat.
Dice is on the beat.
So now that I have sewed in everything and I'm at the top, I am on the final track to be sewed. And like I said, I just kept going back and forth. And now this last track is going to go straight across. And I'm just going to sew that very, very close to the lace closure. Do not sew it on top of the closure, just in case you might want to replace the closure. But just sew right up to it, nice and close. And when I get to the end, I like to secure, like I said, with those 3 knots, and then I cut off the extra lace. The extra tracks. But now it's time to remove that band and that hair tie. And this, what your lace should look like. It should look nice, natural, and melted in really, really good. Now my client did want some baby hairs today, so I will touch bases on that briefly in this video. But before I even get into all of that, I am going to go ahead and just comb out that mousse. You can leave it hard if you would like, or you can comb it out. It's just really up to you and your preference and your desired look for your install. But I am going to wand curl a little bit of the top of this hair because it was washed, and body wave hair does tend to lose its curl pattern. But before I do that, I did take my She Is Bomb Collection wax stick, and I applied that all over the area where I'm going to leave out. And once I am done curling those little pieces, I will take my hot comb and nicely, and as close as possible to the roots of her hair, you want to press out that closure so that your lace closure can lay nice and flat, and that will also give it the most natural results as well.
Dice is on the beat.
So now it's time to get into those baby hairs. Now the hair that you pull down for the baby hairs, you do want to make sure that you cut those hairs down to at least about an inch or less, because you don't want super long baby hairs, because it just won't look right in my opinion. So if you can just chop it down as short as possible with it still having some type of swoop to it, then I would recommend that all the way. Now as far as baby hair placement, everyone's head is different, so you just kind of have to eyeball where you think the baby hair should go, and that's pretty much what you do. Now as far as the baby hairs, I did not do mousse baby hairs. I will be using the black Got To Be gel, and that's just because some people don't like their baby hairs to move, especially if they don't really know how to maintain soft and natural baby hairs. But we will get into that after I do this part here. And basically what I sprayed on top of her hair was that BioSilk hairstyling spray, and I like that spray because it molds it down, and it also holds curls good as well if you wanted to curl somebody's hair and use that to keep, you know, the curls once you comb it out. But nevertheless, like I said, I'm just going to take that Got To Be black gel, and I'm using my edge brush, and I'm just swooping the baby hairs and blow drying it into place so that it does not move. And you just want to create C motions when forming baby hairs. And if you can, blow dry each one as you go along. That way it stays in place, the lace will not lift, and so on. But once I go ahead and complete my last baby hair, I am going to blow dry that and then add some curl on the other side of this install, because the closure, like I said, was washed and everything like that. But once I finish creating this curls, my install is basically complete. Actually, no, it will not be. I'm going to show you guys in this video, as well as requested to those who follow my YouTube channel, on how to make your part more defined and give it that very like clean, straight, sleek look. Now to do that process, you will need some high beams black spray, or it can be any form of black spray. Really, you just want to spray lightly, and you will need the same foundation that you applied underneath your client's closure and on top as well. So yeah, with that, you basically just want to take your rat tail comb, the end of it, and you want to lay that rat tail comb in the part. That way you don't get any black spray on that part. But if you do, it'll be okay, because as long as you have your concealer, you can clean it right up. So I'm just lightly spraying that, and now I'm going to go on with that same concealer and an angle brush, and I'm just going to lay that right in that part. And that was, that pretty much what gets your part nice, clean, and defined. And I just take a little oil sheen and spray on top of it so it does not look like dry or anything like that. And that pretty much completes my install. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget to follow and subscribe. Thank you.